So we'll start with Clint. That's your preliminary card. 4 fights on it. Santos, Bogatov, Amirkhani, Henry, Dos Santos, Salikov, Uzdemir, Prochazka. Let's start with Clint. Best bet on the preliminary card.
Easy peasy, Jimmy. Volkan Uzdemir. I'm going no time. No time for my best bet.
No time Uzdemir for our man Clint. Let's go to our man Big Mo. Best bet, preliminary card.
Let's see here. I think Clint stole all 3 of ours. We were all 3 pretty high on Volkan. But I'm also pretty high on Macwan. So we're going to go Macwan. What was that? It was under 2.5?
Macwan is now at minus 188 from a minus 170 opener at Bet365.
Minus 115 on the under 2.5 there, Mo.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to rock the under 2.5 on the Macwan, Danny Henry.
Under 2.5 in Macwan, Henry. Now let's go to our Boston Nick. Best bet, preliminary card.
Now you said, Jimmy, don't, I don't want you guys to be, about taking. I am on Volkan. I am on the same bet. I love Volkan here. And as we call it, we couldn't have talked in the last couple of days. We call it a click pick, a Clint and Nick pick. And our percentages are high in the last year and a half since we've been working together. So I like Volkan here.
I think of different
things. Just so everybody knows, I like Volkan too. Just so everybody knows.
I think of different things when I hear Clint pick. But
click with a K there, Jimmy.
I know, whatever you guys need.
What was that?
There it is. There is your preliminary card from our guys, Boston Nick, Big Mo, and Clint Starr on the Die Hard MMA podcast, UFC 251, Usman Burns. We've broken down the early preliminary card. 4 fights here. We've broken down the preliminary card. It is now main card time, baby. Odds.com. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We have incredible cappers on the chat. We have incredible cappers here on the screen. We got Boston Nick. We got Big Mo. We got Clint Starr, the Die Hard MMA podcast. What could make this show better? Adding a legend. And that's what we're about to do right now. Please welcome to the show Lodal's Pistol Pete Loshak in the house. Pete.
How y'all doing?
Not worried.
Great to see you guys. Great to see everyone. Yeah, great main card here. Kind of like the theme of the main card is respect or lack thereof, except for the Usman fight. Interesting fights on the main card.
Can't wait to break it down and can't wait to have you here rolling with us. We got Pistol Pete Loshak in the house. Let's get to work. Main card time. We're in Abu Dhabi Fight Island. We're going to start with a women's flyweight bout. 5'4" Brazilian Amanda Ribas, 9-1-0. She opens up at minus 600. Quickly at Bet365 minus 600. Quickly becomes minus 800. Going up against 5'4" American Paige 12-gauge VanZant. 8-4-0 professional MMA record. Opens up at plus 450. Now at plus 550. Pete, you handle these types of situations with aplomb. You figure out how the main thing that you always do is how do you reduce the juice or just leave it alone? Do you reduce the juice or leave it alone? How do you make money off this women's flyweight bout, Ribas VanZant?
Well, I have several bets on the main card that I think have good value and in retrospect are going to make me look great. But my analysis on this fight is a little bit iffy and could, in retrospect, make me look like a massive idiot. Ribas is obviously far superior here, but I took a shot with PVZ at plus 600. I know that in retrospect, this clip is going to be on the internet forever, and people will be able to clip it and present to the world how clueless I am about MMA, and I might be on this bet. Ribas is much better. The sample size for both these fighters is relatively small. Maybe Ribas should be a minus 900 favorite. I took a shot with PVZ at plus 600. You have, the female fighters with this small of a sample size of fights. Also, the research that I've done into PVZ, she's taking this seriously. I know a lot of people consider her to be, somewhat of a joke. And on paper, obviously, Ribas's resume is significantly better. but it's going at 125, right, which I think helps PVZ, right? The weight cut to 115 was always a problem for her. Not a big deal for Ribas. I think Ribas would prefer to be fighting at 115. The weight at 125 helps PVZ. Also, Ribas's coach might not be here because he's got COVID infection, right? So I was reading that. A lot of small factors combined with the massive underdog line made me take a small shot with PVZ at plus 600. If it loses, I'm fine because I think I got other bets on the main card that are going to win. So even if this one loses, I should be fine overall on the main card. I took it, PVZ at plus 600. What can I say?
I find that very, very, very exciting way to start off the main card.
Yeah.
Bet very much if you have a plus 600 opportunity here. Very interesting. Let's move over to Clint. What do you think of Pistol Pete starting off the card by going for a giant dog?
Jimmy, I haven't made a play on this particular fight just yet, but I'm going to go ahead and side with Pete here. I think taking the stab at PVZ is the only way that this makes sense. So let's talk about Amanda Ribas, shall we? Like Pete said, she's a 115er. She's moving up to 125 on short notice here. And she has fought Emily Spitfire Whitmire, who, she fought Mackenzie Dern, who's a ground wizard herself, but has no ability to take the fight to the mat. And then she fought Randa Marcos, who has the ground game, but refuses to use it. Ribas is going to have a striking advantage. I definitely can say that. But Paige VanZant, she is training with her new husband, Mr. VanZant, who's a professional MMA fighter himself and is a power lifter by trade. This girl's jacked, Jimmy. Like, the Paige VanZant we're going to see is a physical monster compared to the last one that was inside the octagon, and she knows she's in this fight on the last fight of her UFC deal, looking to go to the regional scene or looking to, test out the open market. And UFC is trying to take her down a peg so they can re-sign her for cheaper and keep the hot young fighter that they want on the roster for a decent price. That's what's going on here, and she knows full well what is happening. She's not an unintelligent person. So she knows they're looking to bury her here. And she's coming in shape. She is coming ready to go. I know we're in the bigger cage, but she's facing a very green, young opponent. And even though Paige VanZant may have lost, she's fought a much higher caliber fighter so far in the UFC. At plus 600, I don't hate the dog shot. I'm definitely not laying that kind of wood on Ribas. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, you're talking about a small sample size of fights for both fighters and, hard to quantify research factors that all, to my eye, point in PVZ's direction. So I did it.
And we haven't seen her in a year, Pete.
Right.
She's been,
that could be a good thing.
About we talk about young fighters making improvements. Ribas has been fighting. She's been very active lately, which means more than likely she's not improving because she's out there scrapping. Paige VanZant has been tucked away with her high-caliber husband doing nothing but work out and train. She damn well might come in here and shock the world being the bigger, stronger girl.
And the weight at 125, I think that's a huge factor.
Huge factor.
Yeah.
It is.
Big Mo, what do you think of the early feel on this main card and an early move made by Pistol Pete Loshak here? Clint, it seems like it's inspiring Clint to possibly make the same move on a plus 600 dog. I believe since we've started this show all together on odds, that would be the biggest dog that has been bet on, and with a bit of confidence. Big Mo, what do you think here? 12 gauge plus 600.
I'm not mad at the legend, Mr. Loshak's pick, especially at them odds. Plus 600. I've been doing a lot of Instagram tape study for this fight, Jimmy. And PVZ is looking mighty, mighty good, if you know what I mean. Just like Clint said, I'm not going to say it because we'll at least use the initials, Mr. PVZ would probably beat us up for that.
Mrs. PVZ.
Yeah, hey, dude is a beast. So she's probably going to – she can come in and she can get the takedowns. It's just if she plays that. The thing with PVZ, if you blow on her arm wrong, it's going to break. And Ribas strikes heavy, big kicks. You block kicks with your arm. She's not the smartest. And, like we saw Woodson last week. What was Woodson, a minus 1,000? And he comes out and gets beat. So when you start having those big favorites, we're still fighting here. So as far as we're all gambling here. This is called gambling for a reason. So plus 600, and she has the wrestling advantage. I think PVZ could get a decision here, but I ultimately think Ribas will keep it on the feet, outstrike her, probably win a decision that way because VanZant is tough. But either way, I see it going to a decision. I think that Ribas will probably win, but I'm not mad if you lay a little something down on PVZ for the mods.
Boston Nick, Ribas, VanZant.
Listen, Ribas is 3-0 inside the UFC Elton, guys. I'm not sure if you guys know that. But to who, really? Like Clint said. I mean, Mackenzie Dern is her only really respectable opponent, in my opinion, other than, what's her name? She should not be at minus 900 to anybody right now, being 3 fights into her UFC career. Minus 600, I don't mind it at all. I'm not taking Ribas in any type of parlays, any type of prop plays whatsoever. I think the over 2.5 might be a look here. I think you can get the over 2.5 at it's minus 150. I don't see one of these girls getting each other out, especially with the size differential like Pete was pointing out. I do believe Paige can last here and go over 2.5. I mean, at the same time, though, Paige, or I should say Mr. Paige, because we all know who wears the pants in that relationship, where those paychecks come from. So I don't mind that dog shot, but I do like the over 2.5 here.
Bill 808, like in the under 2.5 at plus 135. MMA Z also interested in the under 2.5. We have a totals show that Clint focuses on Friday. Is it Friday evenings, right, Clint?
It comes out on Thursdays.
Comes out on Thursday, where he focuses only on total bets